Okay, so get this. Everyone's talking about AI being the next big thing, right? Well, this Chinese company, DeepSeek, they just kind of threw a wrench in the whole thing.
It really is fascinating.
Silicon Valley is freaking out a little bit,
Yeah,
and we're going to figure out why.
yeah.
We've got articles, we've even got some video transcripts kind of breaking down what they did.
I think what's so fascinating here is that DeepSeek is challenging all these assumptions about AI development.
Yeah,
Like, they're proving that you don't need billions of dollars.
right.
You don't need warehouses full of supercomputers to create really cutting-edge AI.
Yeah, it's like this small startup is going toe-to-toe with these giants like Google and OpenAI.
Exactly.
And they're doing it with like a fraction of the resources. Like we're talking millions, not billions.
Right.
So who are these guys?
So DeepSeek was founded just last year in 2023 by this former hedge fund manager named Liang Wenfeng. And they've released these two AI models, DeepSeek V3 and R1, that are getting a ton of attention. And what's really interesting is the team is mostly made up of like these young, fresh out of university talent.
Okay, so they're scrappy and they've got these new models, but what's so special about them? What makes them different?
So DeepSeek claims that their models perform just as well, if not better, than the big established players like OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini.
Really?
Yeah, and in fact, their R1 model, it's known to excel in very specific areas like math problems and software engineering.
Interesting.
So this has definitely sent ripples through Silicon Valley.
I bet. So you mentioned that they did this with way fewer resources. How did they pull that off?
So they've got some really clever techniques that they're using. One is this thing called a mixture of experts architecture.
Mixture of experts.
Yeah, think of it this way. Instead of using the AI's entire processing power for every single task, it only activates the parts that are specifically relevant to what it's doing at that moment. So that makes it incredibly efficient.
So they're not just throwing brute force computing power at the problem, they're being smarter about it.
Exactly. And on top of that, they use a technique called reinforcement learning. So the AI basically learns by trial and error, constantly getting feedback and refining its approach.
Yeah.
It's almost like training a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Right.
So that helps their models continuously get better at reasoning and problem solving.
It's like they're teaching it to think for itself.
Yeah.
And then there's this other thing called distillation.
Yes, distillation is really interesting. It's kind of like taking a large, complex piece of knowledge, say a whole encyclopedia, and condensing it down into a cheat sheet with just the most important points.
Okay.
So they essentially compress a larger AI model into a smaller, more efficient one.
So they're taking all that AI knowledge and making it more compact and user-friendly.
Exactly.
That's really smart. Okay, so now here's the thing that seems to be causing a lot of buzz. DeepSeek is all about open source.
Yes.
They're putting their models and all their research out there for anyone to use and build upon.
Right.
Which is the opposite of companies like OpenAI, who are much more secretive with their technology.
Exactly.
So open source, why is everyone making such a big deal about this?
Well, it's a potential game changer. Think about it. Now, any developer anywhere in the world can access these powerful AI tools and contribute to making them even better.
Yeah.
So this could lead to a huge explosion of innovation in the AI field.
So if DeepSeek is all about sharing, OpenAI is more like keeping their cards close to their chest.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, but what's got Silicon Valley so spooked? Is it just the open source thing, or is there something else going on?
So on top of all the efficiency stuff we were talking about, DeepSeek's R1 model also uses this thing called chain of thought reasoning.
Chain of thought reasoning.
Yeah.
Break that down for me. What is that?
So it allows the AI to show its work, so to speak. Okay.
Imagine asking it to solve a complex math problem. Instead of just spitting out the answer, it shows you each step, each logical leap it took to get to the solution, almost like a human would.
Wow. So it's not just a black box. You can actually see how it's thinking.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah, and this has major implications. Think about using this for things like scientific research or even medical diagnosis.
Right.
Having an AI that can explain its reasoning would be a huge game changer in those fields.
So it's like having an AI partner that you can actually understand and trust.
Right.
It sounds like their training methods are pretty unique, too.
Absolutely. Instead of feeding the AI tons of pre-solved examples, DeepSeek trained R1 using something called direct reinforcement learning. So they basically gave the AI the problem and the final answer and let it figure out how to get there on its own.
Wait, so they didn't give it any instructions? It had to teach itself how to solve the problem.
Pretty much. They set up a system where the AI gets a reward for getting closer to the right answer, and over time it develops its own internal chain of thought to solve the problem. So they've essentially created a self-learning AI that can figure things out independently.
Exactly.
That's incredible. And they're making all of this publicly available.
Yep. And that's what's really shaken up Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the playing field is leveled. You don't need to be a tech behemoth with endless resources to develop advanced AI anymore.
Yes, like DeepSeek dropped a bomb, and the aftershocks are still going.
Yeah.
Like if you look at NVIDIA, for example, their stock just plummeted.
Oh, wow.
Like a record drop. Almost $600 billion in market value. Poof, gone in a single day.
Wow, that's a huge hit.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing other companies like Microsoft and Meta who are pouring money into their own AI,
Yeah.
they're feeling a little nervous right now.
Oh, absolutely. Investors are starting to realize that bigger isn't always better when it comes to AI.
Right.
Like DeepSeek is proof that you can have these amazing results with, efficient algorithms, smart use of open source resources,
Yeah.
and a team that's focused on, real world problem solving.
It's like they've rewritten the playbook for AI development.
And they're not just like throwing technology out there all willy-nilly.
Right.
They're actually being pretty upfront about how these models work
Right.
and even about their limitations.
Yeah, they've been very open about the fact that, their chatbot still has a ways to go in terms of accuracy.
Hmm.
They're acknowledging that there's still work to be done.
Yeah. It's refreshing to see that kind of honesty, honestly, especially in a field where, everyone's hyping up the next big thing.
Right.
It shows a real commitment to doing AI the right way.
Exactly.
Not just chasing headlines.
I completely agree.
Yeah. It's like they're saying, hey, this is powerful technology, but it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work together to make it better.
Yeah, to that collaborative spirit. I think that's really at the heart of the open source approach.
Yeah.
DeepSeek is basically inviting the world to participate in shaping the future of AI.
That's a good point. It's like a giant brainstorming session with everyone contributing their ideas and expertise. But I'm sure some people are thinking, well, isn't that risky to just give away all this powerful technology?
Mm-hmm.
What if it falls into the wrong hands?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
While open source AI has incredible potential for good, we need to be mindful of the potential risks as well.
It's like giving everyone access to a really powerful tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure most people will use it responsibly. But there's always a chance that someone could misuse it.
Exactly. That's why we need to be thinking carefully about safeguards and ethical guidelines
Yeah.
as this technology becomes more widespread.
So it's not just about the technology itself,
Yeah.
but how we use it
Exactly.
and what kind of future we want to build with it.
Precisely. And for investors, DeepSeek's success has opened up this whole new way of thinking about AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just about betting on the biggest tech companies anymore.
Right.
Investors are starting to look for smaller, more agile companies
Mm-hmm.
that are, developing these innovative solutions in a way that's responsible and efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about who has the smartest approach, not just the biggest budget.
And that's exciting. That means that the future of AI is wide open.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be controlled by a handful of giant corporations.
We could see a much more diverse and dynamic AI landscape
Yeah.
with innovation coming from all corners of the world.
This DeepSeek story is really shaking things up. It's making everyone rethink, what's possible with AI
Yeah.
and who gets to be a part of it.
It highlights the incredible speed of innovation in this field,
Yeah.
the shifting landscape of AI investment,
Right.
and this importance of ethical considerations and transparency in AI development.
This is a story that's still unfolding and one that has major implications for all of us.
And it's even more interesting, like when you consider the timing here.
Yeah.
The U.S. has been trying to restrict China's access to those advanced chips.
Right.
It's the kind you need for like really heavy-duty AI process.
Right.
So it's almost as if like those restrictions kind of pushed DeepSeek to be even more innovative.
So they kind of turned that challenge into an opportunity.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to play catch up with, the big players in terms of like raw computing power,
Mm-hmm.
they went a different route.
Yeah.
They focused on, smarter algorithms and making the most of what they had.
Exactly. And that's a lesson that I think Silicon Valley could learn from as well.
Yeah.
Maybe the future of AI isn't about who has the biggest and most expensive toys.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about who can come up with, the most elegant and efficient solutions.
Right. It's like they're showing everyone this new way to play the game.
Yeah.
A way that's, more open, more collaborative,
Mhm.
potentially much more disruptive.
And this could have a huge impact on how AI is used and regulated going forward.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where these powerful AI tools are available to everyone
Right.
not just a handful of giant companies.
That's a pretty exciting prospect, but it also comes with some big questions. Like, how do we make sure that these open source AI models are being used responsibly?
Right.
How do we prevent them from, falling into the wrong hands or being used for, harmful purposes?
Those are questions that I think we as a society need to start addressing now. We need to be developing those safeguards and ethical frameworks that can keep pace with this, rapidly evolving technology.
It's like we're standing at the edge of a new frontier.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much potential for good,
Yeah,
but there are also so many unknowns.
absolutely.
And I think it's important to have these, open and honest conversations about
Yeah.
how we navigate this new landscape.
I agree. We can't just leave these decisions to tech companies or governments.
Yeah,
We all have a stake in the future of AI,
right.
and we need to ensure that, it's a future that benefits everyone.
So for our listeners out there who are hearing all of this and thinking, wow, this AI stuff is really starting to take off,
Yeah.
what's the one key takeaway they should keep in mind?
I think the DeepSeek story is a powerful reminder that the AI revolution is happening right now.
Right.
It's not some distant future scenario.
Yeah.
This is happening faster than most people realize.
And that the future of AI isn't predetermined.
Right.
It's being shaped by the choices we make today.
Exactly.
The decisions that we make about how we develop and use and regulate this technology.
So stay curious, stay informed,
Yeah.
and most importantly, stay engaged.
Yeah.
Because the future of AI is literally being written as we speak.
Right.
And we all have a role to play.
This has been a really fascinating look at DeepSeek. It's a reminder that even in this field that's, dominated by these tech giants,
Yeah.
that a small team with a bold vision can really change the game.
Absolutely. It's a call to action for all of us.
Yeah.
To think critically about the future of AI and how we want to shape it.
The possibilities are truly endless, and the choices we make today will have a profound